In the mid-20th century, a radical thinker named Wilhelm Reich claimed he could control the weather. His invention? The Cloudbuster. A strange, cannon-like device made of metal pipes and cables aimed at the sky. Reich believed it could tap into an unseen energy called orgone to dissolve clouds or summon rain. To some, he was a visionary ahead of his time. To others, a fraud peddling pseudoscience. This is the story of the Cloudbuster, an invention that blurred the line between science, mysticism, and controversy. Born in 1897 in Austria, Wilhelm Reich began his career as a psychoanalyst, studying under Sigmund Freud. He was brilliant, unconventional, and unafraid to challenge norms. By the 1930s, Reich had fled Nazi persecution, settling in the United States. There, his focus shifted from the human mind to the natural world. He became obsessed with a concept he called orgone, a universal life energy he claimed flowed through all living things in the atmosphere. Reich believed orgone could heal bodies, power machines, and even influence weather. In the early 1950s, Reich unveiled the Cloudbuster. It looked like something from a science fiction film. A row of hollow metal pipes, mounted on a swivel base, connected by cables grounded in water. Reich's theory was simple yet wild. He said orgone energy in the atmosphere could become stagnant, forming clouds or drought. By pointing the Cloudbuster at the sky and manipulating this energy, he claimed he could restore balance, either breaking up clouds or coaxing them to release rain. The device didn't shoot beams or electricity. It was passive, relying on what Reich called orgonomic potential to draw energy from the air. He tested it in rural Maine, documenting his results with fervor. The Cloudbuster was rooted in Reich's orgone theory, a bold vision of a universal life energy he called orgone, from organism and orgasm, tying it to vitality and sexual flow. He saw orgone as a massless, invisible force, pulsing through all living things and the atmosphere in waves, like a cosmic breath. In its healthy state, it fueled growth and harmony, glowing faintly in microbes he studied or warming the air. But Reich warned it could stagnate into deadly orgone, triggering disease or drought. He believed devices like the Cloudbuster could manipulate these energy currents, drawing orgone from the sky through metal pipes, grounded in water, to restore nature's balance. It was a leap from psychology to a strange, uncharted science. Reich's experiments were ambitious. In 1953, he aimed the Cloudbuster at a dry spell plaguing Maine farmers. Hours later, rain fell, and Reich took credit. Another time, he claimed to dissolve a looming storm cloud, protecting a harvest. His followers were amazed, calling it proof of orgone's power. Reich even attracted attention from beyond science. In Arizona, ranchers hired him to end a drought. After days of cloudbusting, rain reportedly came, though skeptics pointed to natural weather shifts. Reich's notes were meticulous, filled with diagrams and observations, but they lacked the controlled data science demanded. Still, his believers saw a revolution in weather control. The Cloudbuster's fame came with scrutiny. Mainstream scientists dismissed orgone as fantasy, arguing there was no evidence for such an energy. Critics called Reich delusional, accusing him of exploiting desperate farmers. Then came the law. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration targeted Reich's broader orgone work, especially his orgone accumulators, boxes he sold to concentrate energy for health benefits. By the early 1950s, reports trickled in. Patients using these wooden boxes lined with metal, marketed as health aids, sparked concern. The FDA launched an investigation in 1951, labeling Reich's claims fraudulent. Agents went undercover, posing as clients to gather evidence, while scientists tested accumulators and found no measurable energy. Only hollow promises, they said. Reich dismissed them as ignorant bureaucrats, refusing to cooperate. In 1954, the FDA struck, filing an injunction to ban his devices and literature nationwide. They accused him of peddling quackery, endangering vulnerable people with unproven cures. Reich fought back, representing himself in court in Portland, Maine that spring. His defense was a spectacle, rambling lectures on orgone, defiance of authority, and pleas for scientific freedom. The judge wasn't swayed. On May 7, 1954, the injunction passed, ordering Reich to destroy his accumulators and halt all orgone work. He complied at first, smashing devices under supervision, but soon resumed in secret, shipping parts across state lines. That defiance triggered his arrest in 1956, contempt of court, a federal crime. The trial was swift. The gavel fell hard. Sentenced to 2 years, Reich's fate was sealed, his dream of orgone validation crumbling under legal weight. Reich's final days unfolded in a stark cell at Lewisburg Federal Penitentiary in Pennsylvania. Convicted of contempt in 1956 for defying the FDA's ban on his organ devices, he was sentenced to 2 years. On November 3, 1957, just days before a parole hearing that might have freed him, Reich was found dead in his sleep at age 60. The official cause was heart failure, a condition he'd battled for years, worsened by stress and confinement. His supporters whispered of foul play, noting his vigor in letters written weeks earlier, but no evidence emerged. Alone, his books burned and his Cloudbusters dismantled. Reich's death marked a quiet end to a stormy life, leaving behind a legacy as divisive as the man himself. Today, the Cloudbuster remains a curiosity. Some fringe researchers still build replicas, testing Reich's ideas in backyards and deserts. A few swear it works, pointing to anecdotal successes. Science, however, sees it as a relic of pseudoscientific zeal. No peer-reviewed studies support orgone or its weather effects. Yet Reich's vision lingers. Was he a misunderstood genius, tapping into forces we've yet to grasp? Or a man lost in his own imagination? The Cloudbuster challenges us to question where invention ends and illusion begins.